Hello everybody, welcome back to Musings by Nikki. This is a special edition called Snow Day in April because we're getting like the most bizarre, some of the more bizarre weather. I shouldn't say the most bizarre, but some of the more bizarre weather that Minnesota ever gets. So we have a snow day in April, which is crazy, but not far from where we've been all year long here in the upper Midwest anyhow, right? So today I have been crafting. I have made these three things and I want to show them to you, and then I'm going to try and craft through them. We'll see if we have time to get through them all the way or if I'm going to have to break it up into a few videos. I've cut the pieces and some of it's sort of assembled or ready to go, so we'll see. So what I have made. So we're still working in this book. I just put it out here for you to remember. This is what we're doing. And this is all the ephemera that I have made so far. Some of it I have done on camera. Look at this thing is getting a little bit chunky when I was decking the ephemera in there. So I think one of two things. I might have to just make this go down to one signature if I want to keep most of this, or the other thing is, really quickly, let me show you what I found that I totally forgot I had. This is another book. It's called The Community of Living Things in Forest and Woodland, and it has this really cool, this is kind of a shiny gold, you can see it kind of. It's an Audubon Society book. The cover is in really good shape for being a used, book. And I was like, ooh, it's skinny as well. It's not very thick. But I could do one of two things. If you've been watching Nick the Booksmith make her lap book, maybe that something like that could happen with this guy. Or maybe I just saved some of the ephemera from this book and put it into this and use my new naturalist kit and my Wildwood Wonder, kind of use them together or something like that. So we'll see. I don't know. But if I make so much ephemera, because of course now I'm going to have one of each of these things and I add those in and it's like, way alligator mouth. So anyway, we'll put that away for now. And here are the three things that I have made. So let's look at this one first. This is a tag that I made, and this has got Edith Holden paper on the back and just a regular tag on the front, and then I've notched it. So I've sewn around these edges here, but not this side, clearly because I can put this card in and out here, right? So it's a pocket. And then I used one of Tracie's tags. I used one of her new little guys, the little circle things. I did some stamping on here. I used another one of her mini ephemera pieces, and then I used the word Botanical that I cut off when she was doing when I was cutting out the plates, the vintage Botanical plates. So this is one element that I have made, so I'll work through that with you. Then another one, so the other two are a little more complicated. This one is one of the seed packets that I got at Target at the dollar store. They are super awesome, and I'm going to do a giveaway of some of these because I went in back and got some more because I had heard from some people like that live in Canada or different parts of the world where you don't have access to Target and you can't get these, but these are like just the perfect size. They are so awesome. Look at this big real estate, and then I use another one here for junk journaling. So I'm going to do a giveaway. Probably not on this video. Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So I've used one of those and I've turned it into, so there's a little paper clip here. I've turned it into a little mini notebook of sorts. So on the front, there is a Tim Holtz punch, one of the stitched, oh, I forget what it's called, but it's, the one with the little pockets in it, clearly, right? This one. So I have in here one of Tracie's tags, vintage botanical tags, And then I have this little mini file folder, and I have one of my tags from my naturalist kit, and I have one of Tracie's mini tags. This is the large size from the mini tags. And then a piece of stamped muslin with some cheesecloth behind it. And then when you flip it over, where the flap of the envelope is actually stitched some paper that is tabbed, so it's a little notebook. But you can easily flip that notebook open to, and inside the actual envelope, so I've notched the envelope here, and inside the envelope is a coffee-stained, just a coffee-stained note card with a tab and some of Tracie's ephemera on there. So that's this piece right here. Really fun. And then I have just the paper clip on there, so I'll probably use that to attach it into the book as well, and it just keeps it kind of all in one piece. Then the last one that I made is an envelope pocket. I'm going to call it an upside down envelope pocket. So this envelope, when you take the stuff out of it, right, this is the actual envelope, would go like this, and you'd open it up. However, you can't open it up anymore because it's been stitched on the sides. So I turned it over, sliced the top off, notched it. Now this becomes a pocket, and in the pocket I have made one of my vellums that I printed for the vintage botanical plates of Tracie's. So I put it in this card, and that's in there. That's a nice journaling card. Then I just put one of her vintage botanical plates. Then I also took a tag and did the same thing, only this one I left the edge, and I'll show you when I get to that. But so that's another vellum, see-through, and that tag goes in the pocket. And then hanging from it I used some of her little the new kit to put in there, the little dots, discs, that's the word I was looking for. And then I used the other type of seed packet that has the window in it, and in there I just made, it fits really tight. I should make them a little narrower. But in there I have just one of her tags with the top on it, and I've sewn across there. You can't really see the sewing because it's kind of matches the tag topper. So I used the tag and the topper, and I attached it to this piece of paper from, it's either graphic for, I think it's 7 Gypsies, and I backed that with some coffee stain paper that I have made. So when you stick this thing inside of the envelope, it shows through that vintage graphic from Tracie, shows through the shiny window here, and that all fits inside the back of that envelope. I think when I attach it, I might do attach it and leave this side open, and so that I can have something with a tab hanging off of it, and have whatever, you know, tag I slide in the side here, have a tab, and then that would hang kind of off the edge of the book, so you'd have a tab there. I don't know, but that's in my head right now. So these are my 3 new elements. Let's see, which one should we work on? Well, let's see, what do I have on top? I have the tag stuff on top. So we'll put those over here, and we'll work on the tag. So I have my little pile of supplies over here, and all the stuff that I need to make this. So it's similar, but not, you know, like this one is kind of a lighter paper. This one I've got a darker paper for, but they're similar enough. These, I should have looked up where I got these from first. This is a, I'll put it below. They are awesome. So this one here is their garden flashcards, and they're a good size. And I love them. I use them in my, you know, any sort of time that I'm doing like a botanical book or anything like that, I use them. So that's what I've used kind of as the insert into this tag. So that's going to be the insert into this one. So the first thing we need to do is notch the side of this. And so I just kind of go to the middle-ish of the tag and put a notch in there. All right. Then we do a little bit of inking quick. And then when I go to sew this, I will, I'll just sew it off camera really quick so you don't have to, because again, my sewing machine is over there. It needs to be, I have to move stuff a little bit around to pull it forward. So, okay, we'll ink that, and then let's see, which side do I want on the back? That one. I don't know. I think I caught the word death on the other side of this, so we'll go with this nice little poem here. Maybe it won't talk about death. We don't want anything dark in our nice little botanical book. All right, so we will try to match up that hole as best I can when I sew. So there's nothing, I didn't decorate the back of this really at all because that'll be just against the book, so no big deal. What I do need to do though is here we need to put a tab. So I have chosen one of Tracie's, so that'll go in like this, right? I've chosen one of the tabs from Tracie's, tabs and toppers. No, tags and toppers. I knew that didn't sound right. So we'll ink this up. And go ahead and glue that on. I did put a little bit of acetone in my glue after the last time I was using it because it was a hot mess. I think I still need to maybe put a little bit more. Still need to thin it down a little bit more, but it's way better now than it was before. So thank you for reminding me of that. And then this, ooh, I got little fuzzies from my inker. This just goes roughly in the middle, and I want it to stick out, you know, a good way. I want it to stick out a good bit, because we want it to be able to be seen, you know, on the side of the envelope, so that we can have this little guy dangling from it. So we want that to be able to be seen. So we're gonna put this, and then did I pull out? I don't know if I don't think I did, so I'll just grab one out. On here I put this little disc from Tracie's, I think it's called, I get all the mini kits in confused now, but see how there's like the space right here, so that little disc fits really well there. It's mini embellishments. Is that this one? There's mini text, there's mini, all these mini things. Should we do that one? It's kind of pretty. So we'll do this one. Well, I don't know. Is there enough contrast? I think so. We'll ink that real quick. It's like slightly chomped off a little bit, but that is okay. So we'll glue that on. There we go. So how's the weather where you guys live? Is it as nuts as it is here? Because today alone we have had hail, snow, rain, thunder, and wind like a like you're worried about straight line winds or, you know, precursor to tornado. It just like really strong winds as well. It's been, you know, quite the grab bag of weather here in Minnesota. School got canceled. There we go. I like that. That's very pretty. Let's go ahead and punch the hole and set an eyelet to hang the little dangly guy from. So yeah, our weather has been not so, but that's okay. It's kind of a nice excuse to just stay inside and craft. Unexpected extra crafty day. Those are always appreciated. Okay, now set this. Ugh. Okay. And I've got a couple of the little dangly tag things that I have made already. And so we'll go with this one. I love these on these ball pins. This was a great idea, Tracie Fox. Although all of her ideas are great. It's so fun getting to work with her kits. She just is putting a new one called Silhouette, and I downloaded it and started printing it earlier, and it is beautiful. And it's all I can do to stick with the project that I'm doing. I just want to start working on the new kit already. I noticed that Wendy had 2 journals today and had they're beautiful botanical journals, and had already included some of the stuff in there, some of the shade stuff. But how can you not? Because it's just so beautiful. All right, we're gonna stamp the bottom of this. So I'm gonna put it on, what did I do with my, oh, here we go. I'm gonna put it on a piece of paper because I'll probably overstamp just a tad. And we're just gonna put some black ink on. And we'll go, well, that's not great, but we'll work with it. Just totally dropped it down onto the thing. Oh man, that's not bad at all. We'll deal with it. Just got askew a little bit, but that's okay. It didn't end up being a bad stamp. It just cut this off on the side, but you really won't notice that actually once I sew, so it'll be fine. So there is that. So we've got this part done, and we've got this tag to go inside. So what I need to do next is sew around the edges of it. Then I can put this little embellishment in the corner. So I'm going to turn the video off for a second, I will go sew, and then I will return. All right, be back in a sec. All right, I am back. I've sewn around the edge of this tag, so now it actually makes a pocket. So there we go, tag, that is now a pocket. And we can do the final little bit of embellishment up here in the corner, which is to put a bit of cheesecloth. And then, like I said, as I was, oh, I can't get it up off the table. You guys, I broke my fingernail off like really down low this morning, messing around trying to get the drain out of the sink. Oh, goodness. So it hurts, but then I painted it so it would make me a little bit less sad that it was just gone. I painted my nails because it ripped all the nail polish off too, but it's so short, it's way down low, so now I can't grab things. Anyway, enough whining about that. So this is when I cut, when I made the vellum print outs of the Vintage Botanicals from Tracie. I'm just cleaning the schmaltz off of the mouth of the glue. When I made the printout, when she's got the little label down at the bottom that says, you know, Love Junk Journals, Vintage Botanicals, well, I just cut out the little botanical word. You got to save all the little bits and pieces, right? When you're a junk journaler, that's what you do. So I thought that'll work somewhere in this book, and here we go. Here's where it works. So I put some glue on it. Now I put a little extra glue so it would press down through that cheesecloth. And there we go. We are almost there, right? All we're missing now is a piece of this beautiful sage colored sari silk. And there we go. That finishes it off. So there we go. There is Project Ephemera piece number 1. We've got a little pocket tags. Pocket tags, I'm going to call them. Side pocket tags. That sounds even better. So there we go. We got those. We'll put those aside over here. Next on the list is, let's see, this one. So let's do this one. Oh, you know what I forgot to do on the other one? I felt like I was missing something. I have little hole protectors up here, and it adds extra. We're going to do it right now because it just needs, that's the extra. It's the extra winning bit. There, look at that. Finishes it up. And like I've said before, these are just, you know, cheap dollar store tab protector things that I take my ink thing and just dab over them a little bit like this to age them up, and they work great. So there we go. Now let's put this guy back through. That finishes it. Right? You're all going, oh, now it's so much better. It was ugly before, but now it looks acceptable. All right. There we go. There we go. I like that better. It's just the slight bit of, you know, extra zhuzhing, extra making good. So now let's make this little notebooky envelope-y thingy. See, it's a good thing that these are all just one tutorial, because if I made these all separately, what would I even, you can't name a video, this is a tutorial on an envelope-y notebooky thingy. That would be dumb. So I just say it, but I won't actually like publish it somewhere. Alright, so let me pull out the supplies for this out of my pile. I need not that stuff, not that one. Here's my pile of supplies for this one, I think. Oh, and this thing. Okay. So here is I've already cut the paper down. I mean, you know, I feel like I don't need to tell you guys how to cut paper down. You just need it to be the size of your envelope. You could do this with any kind of, you could do it with this kind of envelope, you know, if you wanted to. You could seriously do it with any kind of envelope. I just really like these seed envelopes because they're really cool. It says seed style, or seed type, variety, notes, date purchased. And then back here it says date planted, date harvested, and notes. And you can do that several times. So I just like it. It's, you know, when you're doing a botanical theme, that makes sense, right? So I've cut these down, and I cut them a little bit short because I'm going to put tabs on, but I like when the tabs just come, you know, past the edge of the notebook. So you can see them back here, but then I like when they kind of just stick out the side here too. So that's what we're going to go for. So the first thing we have to do is ink. Oh, actually before we ink, ooh, I just caught myself, because we have to slice this out. Oh, notch it, I mean, slice sounds so dangerous. So I just go right to the edge of this. It has a little notch right here for you to be able to like close it, which I think if you had seeds in here, these would really suck as a seed holder, because you put seeds in there and then this little notch is supposed to be what you close it behind. You're gonna have seeds everywhere. This is a little piece of paper. Look at just flappy fold. You'd have to put them inside of something else. You have to open the ink first. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I've been crafting away on this stuff all morning. Just sitting up here listening to the weather change. I have some probably very happy students, you know, laying around playing video games or whatever. Although it is so sad because just a few days ago we had kids over at the park playing basketball. There's a park. We live right across the street from the elementary school in our district. And there's a big basketball court over there and a huge park, and it's like tends to be a gathering spot for kids, especially like middle and high school kids. So, you know, a lot of my students over there. And there have been kids over there playing ball, and it's kind of nice. It's just like a reminder that warmer weather's here. And then today. And we kept getting these winter weather watch things, and it would, you know, the forecast was getting ominous, but kind of after you've lived here for a while, you learn to not trust the forecast all that much, because a lot of times, especially they seem to like over estimate snow totals and that sort of stuff. So you go, is it really going to be, you know, at one point the storm was like 16 to 24 inches, and you think that's not going to happen. Well, actually, I kind of think that has happened over in the southern parts of, like, southwestern part of Minnesota, South Dakota area. They have had almost that much. So here's what the die looks like, the die cut looks like without it. It's Tim Holtz. A lot of people have this or like this or know what this is. You can also, if you don't have this, you can really easily make your own. And I've made my own several times just by cutting out a piece of paper, and then you just cut your own slits. If you want to see how to do it, Nick the Booksmith, in her lap book, one of her series, in her lap book, she makes kind of a version of this, but shows how to punch holes and then cut across, and it's actually a really good technique. So I just happen to have the die. I got it on sale with a coupon, so I have the die. So we're using that. So we're going to attach that next. And when you put this on, or if you make your own, whatever it is, you just want to be really careful to really only go a very fine edge of glue around the outside edge here. You can put different like layers of paper behind this so that you can create an individual pocket for each one of the little slots, but I do not have time for that business. So we're gonna go ahead and just lay this down and try to get it as even Steven as possible. There we go. All right. My husband has the ability to work from home, so he, you know, took one look outside and said, yeah, I'm not going out in that. So he stayed home, and he ran out to the garage for some reason. I'm just going to stick these things in here now. So it is kind of like a little bit of a struggle to get the things through, but not bad enough that I would want to, you know, create individual pockets for everything. So I'm fine with it this way. Here's a little mini tag from Tracie Fox. Here is the little tag from my Naturalist kit, and I'm going to put a little piece of sari silk through it. So my husband ran out to the garage and came running back in and said, "Oh my goodness, it is so cold outside. The wind is just awful." And then later he saw our neighbor was out shoveling, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that." There's no reason to do that because it's going to be so, it's going to melt. I put a little butterfly stamp, so I'm going to do that on this one too. These also, these little mini file folders, it's a whole set of these. It's a really cool kit, and there's these small ones, and there's medium-sized ones, which I've run out of, and then there are these large ones like this. They're really cool, and it's by the same person with the garden cards, which for the life of me I cannot remember. So I'm gonna go find it, and I'm gonna post it, because this is also a really fun kit, and they have all different designs on them. So some of them have florals, some of them have, you know, typewriters, and there's all kinds of cool stuff on there. So we're going to, if I can find my stamp. Oh, here we go. The little butterfly out right here. I'm not even going to bother putting, famous last words as I say this, as I, you know, just had another stamping error. But we'll try to do this without a stamping error. Alright. You notice how I get all quiet when I'm trying to concentrate. Yay! That worked. So we'll put that stuff away over here. And now we have a little butterfly file folder to stick in there as well. So we've got it loaded up, and the one thing we're missing is on the bottom. I have one of my little piece of stamped muslin that I have ripped and frayed the edges of. And I'm going to kind of just pull apart and fray up and kind of make a little bit of a mess out of, but that's what I like, sticking out the edges of, you know, cheesecloth. So I'm going to make a mess out of that. Then I'm going to put some Fabri-Tac on the back of this guy here. All right. And I want to put enough that it will go through the cheesecloth and adhere. Usually I put a thinner layer, but when I'm, again, I think I've said this 27 times, when I'm trying to go through cheesecloth, I put a little extra. Okay. And then I just tap, tap, tap like this. If I don't want to roll, you know, around on it or push it down too hard, because then it starts to soak, the Fabri-Tac can kind of soak through the muslin, and I don't want that. And it gets all over your fingers like this. All right, so that is the front of that one. Look at, we're blowing through this stuff because I had it all ready. So I'm so sorry if I'm going way too fast, but I just wanted to show you these things. I'm excited to get this book put together and move on. Now that I saw Tracie's other kit, I'm all excited. This paper, I like this paper because it says the little date thing, so we'll put that in front on this one. I need to, so what we're going to do here is this part where we're going to sew these on. Now again, if you don't have a sewing machine, you could put some staples in here. That would work just fine. You could also, you know, modify this and just put one piece of paper, glue it. You could run through, you know, simple strips of glue down and adhere it with glue. You certainly could do it any one of those ways. I'm still picking glue off my fingers. My life, picking glue off my fingers. So I am going to, again, actually, you know what? I pulled my sewing machine over. So if you guys will just bear with me, I'll just do it really quick, because this one I can zip down this really quick. So I don't want it to go all the way to the edge. Oh, what I forgot to ink was right here. When I ink this, it gives me a sight line, so I know where I'm gonna sew. And just get those pretty close to lined up. And then I don't want to go all the way to the edge because I want that to fold really easily. And that looks good. And we will quickly zip through this. Where'd my petal go? All right. Hopefully that wasn't just ridiculously loud for you guys on camera. But there we go. Now we have sewn those on. And it flips open like a little, but you can also open the pages and write in there. And so now we need to make these tabs. And I just have an offcut. I have these long, kind of skinny strips of offcut from when I cut the pages for the book down to size. So I'm going to make as even a fold as I can in this, because you need the paper folded in half to make the tabs the way that I do it. So open this thing up. And you take the we put the folded side up. I think I've shown this before, and I'm sure a billion other people have shown this. But you put the folded side up, and then you put it into your punch. And come on now. You want to leave you want to cut, instead of cutting all the way through, see how there's just a little tiny bit of a gap right there? That way the top doesn't get punched and it ends up being like that, right? So super slick. Then when I have this long, nice thing, I just slide it down, kind of line it up with a little bit of a gap at the top again. Whoop. And you punch them and they go everywhere. And then one more. One more. All right, so we've got 3. It goes back up there, and this goes into scraps. And we ink. So I don't know if I told you guys. No, I didn't, because I haven't made a video in the last couple of days. I have been proctoring MCA tests, and you know, it's the statewide assessments, but I think they're federal, and so most states all have standardized testing these days. And I have been proctoring the 11th graders. Yeah, woo, it's time for a new one. New little thing. I'm getting fuzzies everywhere. There we go. I'm going to glue these on. I have 3 pages. I have 3 tabs. So the you know, kids tend to have one of 2 feelings about the MCA tests. The first feeling is, I hate taking tests. Why do I need to sit and take a test? Especially, they get especially irritated sometimes when they find out that it doesn't even really impact their grade. So they're like, I worked all this hard on all these hours on this test and it didn't even impact my grade. So, you know, you try to explain standardized testing to a kid. They don't want to hear it. So they're either irritated or they're excited. They're excited because it means that they get out of a day of class in that subject. I put the top one on first, then the bottom one, so I kind of have good spacing, so I know where the middle one goes. Otherwise, so the bottom one goes on the back page, and then I'll put the middle page on at the end. It just helps me kind of, it's my strategery for getting them lined up as best I can. Again, not perfection, just close. So I'm sure there are a lot of kids that are glad that they're not doing MCA testing today. All right. Also, I'm glad that we've decided as a district, well, I think the state of Minnesota actually, that we don't need to make up all these crazy days. So see, we can just see them past the edge there. That's cool. I like the way that looks. I'm glad we've decided we don't have to make up all the extra snow days, because we'd be in school till July. When do you guys get out of school? When do your kids get out of school in your area? Some school districts, like my sister's up north, my sister and her kids. So I'm just going for the middle-ish. There we go. They get out at the end of May, but that's because they're in a more agricultural area, and kids, they get out a little bit earlier. They don't really get spring break like we do, and so they kind of save that time or bank that time. Yeah, there we go. For getting out earlier so that they can get, like traditionally, it was so they could get to harvest and, you know, get to work on the farm. Be done with that school stuff for the busiest time of year, summer, when, you know, in Minnesota, there's a very small growing season compared to some other places. There we go. We have completed the next step. Now we need to make the card to go in here, which again, I have the things. I should leave that open and show you once again. It is half of, let me show you. So I took Tracie's topper from her kits and folded it in half this way, and then cut it in half. So there we go. So that was this half and that was this half. Cut it in half and made two little tabs, and they needs to be inked. Oh, do it not over that because of all the little blobby, the fuzz, the warm fuzzies. Okay. I think I forgot to grab an index card. Luckily, I have some right here. So we want this to go toward the edge, and this little butterfly here, and then this little bee, I'm using a little bee for this one, are from Tracie's Tiny Embellishments, and so it fits perfect on there as the little tab, decorative tab, and then you see it through the little notch. Perfect. So this kit is, these kits that she's come out with more recently are just so dang versatile. All this little embellishment stuff just works so good. It's to really dress up your stuff, and it's kind of almost no-brainer. Like you can dress your things up, your work up, without having to put a lot of effort into it, because she's done a lot of the work for you. It's just, they're great. They're really great kits. I'm so honored to be a part of the design team and get to work with them and have the chance to play with them all the time. I'm just gonna, this is dark enough that I don't like the white edge, so I stopped myself at putting cheesecloth behind these because I didn't want them to get hung up in putting it into the slot there. Ooh, stringy. So there we go. A little bee on there. This one has a little butterfly. So cute, right? So those go in here, and that fits right in there. And you see the little thing. And I mean, the pocket's big enough that you could put the, you know, other stuff in there too. There could be, see, there's lots of space in there. Pictures or whatever. Other journal cards. So, then we put a little, I have these just gold, these are gold. You probably can't tell that. Nope, can't tell. This looks like a regular old paper clip. But they're not, they're gold. They're kind of a brassy gold. So I just have that going over the edge of the corner here to make sure that it just kind of all stays together. Like so. There we go. And like I said, that's probably how I'll clip them in. So there, now we have 2 of those. Check. Lastly, let's do this envelope guy. So I have the pieces for that ready as well. Well, partially ready. So here's the envelope, just a plain old jive old envelope. It needs to be zhuzhed up here with ink. Oh, before I do that though, because, you know, notching and stuff. So here's how I get the end open. I am literally just cutting the tiniest of little strips off the top here. See, look at that. Just the teeniest little twill of paper here. This twill of, does that even make sense? Twill of paper. See it? It's this little teeny thing, the little edge. Because my whole goal is just to get it open on the end, right? Through the, we get where I'm going with this. And then I'm going to use my punch and notch this end. And I'm going to try to find the middle-ish and notch. Now I can ink because I'll be inking the top open-ish part too. Ink, ink, ink. And then I do this back edge too, because you see it when you kind of pull it open to put ephemera in and stuff, so I run a little bit down there too. Ink makes just a nice, I think it just adds the finished look to things. Adds the extra. Okay. Don't need to worry about inking the back because that's going to be affixed to the page in some manner. All right, so what I need to do next is sew up the sides of the envelope here, therefore closing this flap shut. Again, if you don't have a sewing machine or don't want to sew, because, you know, every little bit of sewing adds bulk as well, although this is already kind of bulky in the first place. But if you don't want to sew, you could certainly just run a little strip of glue right here or double stick tape, whatever you want to do. Since I have my sewing machine right here, I'm just going to run it through really quick, and I'm just doing the sides. This is super bizarre angle to be doing this at, but it's okay. It's just one little straightish line that I'm sewing. And then one on the other side as well. after this ephemera, I think I am ready to start assembling this book, which I'm really excited about. Just cut the threads off here. I don't cut them all the way down because I kind of like the way, you know, it looks with little, I'm kind of sewing with this greenish color, so I don't know how well you can see that, but yeah, I like the way it looks to have the little frayed edges hanging off. Okay, next we need to make this card with the little vellum through. So what I have is a coffee stained giant index card. So we're going to fold it in half. You can fold it with the, you know, if you wanted to, you could fold it to have the, where's my bone folder? There we go. You could fold it to have the stripes on the inside, you know, and just have this side on the outside. But I kind of like the stripes. I think it just adds a little bit behind it. So, dimension. So what I'm going to do is, again, with my 2-inch punch, I'm going to go, I like it kind of in this upper corner because then I can put another piece of ephemera next to it so it kind of showcases it. Plus then it leaves, you know, places to write. So I'm going to go through both parts of the paper at the same time. I'm going to try not to get too close to the edge, but close enough. There we go. So as you can see, it punches right up to the edge. It does not give you the chance. Save your little discs, right? There's always something to do with those. If you're going to do it this way, you certainly could, you know, put it lower if you wanted to by doing it a different way, but this is how I did it. It doesn't leave you much room up here to kind of glue over the edge of, right there. But it's worked right here really well. I just put glue in there enough. So here are my vellum images. And you just want to choose one that's going to look pretty coming through with enough, you know, I'm going to do one of these berry ones maybe, with enough contrast, you know, so it's nice and even. There. I think that's pretty. I like that. Oops. Oof. All right. I want to ink around the insides of these edges here first, because that won't be covered up. So there we go. And the inside of this one, like this. All right. So now, sorry if I got quiet for a second there. I thought I heard somebody knocking on the door, and then I thought I heard the girls yelling, but no, I think we're good. So I'm going to cut off this bottom part of the image because we don't need that. But I am going to save it because it has some pretty little stuff, and you know, it could look cute in a collage or something. Then I'm going to firstly put some glue around the inside. We've kind of just created this pocket for ourselves, right? So I'm going to put some glue up to the edge, but not too close because I don't want it to smush out. Except up at the top here, you just kind of got to go for it. And it's going to smush out a little bit. I'd rather it smush out the top. And then we will put our image on there. There we go. So there it is. And then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go give the rest of this some glue. And I'm going to try to stick right to the edge there. And then just a little bit of glue in the middle here. Kind of hold the whole thing together. And now we fold and smoosh. So now right up at that top edge, I have a little bit of glue coming through. So I can wipe that with my finger. And then I've got a little bit coming through at the top, but that's not as big a problem because that I can just wipe off the edge like this and off my board. That is so dirty, it needs to be cleaned. The nice thing is you can kind of bead the glue up off the vellum if you get a little on there real quick. You just kind of rub it, it comes off. So there we go. There's our pretty little raspberries on this botanical. And I don't want to do anything else to it really because I'm, at first I was thinking, oh, well, maybe I'll stick some, oh, where's my little pile of them now? Did I already throw one in here? No, of course not. So I'm going to put that in here like this. And then what I had thought originally was that I would put something else on the side of this tag, but then I kind of like just the idea of sticking this vintage botanical, you know, just as a journaling card, this ATC size thing here, and just kind of sticking it in there as a separate piece. Layering. Now, of course, I'm not going to be able to put my fingers on really quickly. Oh, there we go. My stack. So that's got berries on it. And it's going to be covered up kind of partially by these. So I want one that's just a little bit more like, yeah, let's go with this. Where it's not, because if it was a flower or something, I'd feel like it was kind of getting covered. But this is just a nice little background for having the little dangles from the tag over it. Then I'm using one of Tracie's tea cards down in the corner here. This one has a couple of birds on it. And this one is a butterfly. These are from, I want to say, her white tea cards kit. And so I'm going to put some cheesecloth behind. I think that's long enough, but is it too wide? Yeah, and cut it down a little bit. Tracie's tea cards, again, another piece of her embellishment stuff that's just so brilliant. It works for everything so well. There we go. Okay. And we'll just, woo, frayed that a little extra. I did the most to that. It's okay. I can kind of smush it back together like this, and you won't see it behind the tea card. So the tea cards are another thing that's just brilliant. They work so good. They are great for just embellishing little things like this, but you can also tuck them into things as a little mini tag. You can actually turn some of them are botanicals. You can turn them into little tags just by chomping the corners. So they work awesome. I always have some in my little Tracie. I have a little Tracie thing of embellishments, and then I have a tin of her newer embellishment stuff, and then I have just some tags and tea cards and stuff always kind of at the ready because you never know when you might need one. Okay, so there we go. Check, check, check. Now this tag, and I already made one because I figured you don't need to see how I punch a hole in the tag. I punched the hole in the tag the same way I punched this hole here. And then instead of layering the tag, because these are already pretty thick, I just have glued around the edge of the hole and I punched these out with a bigger punch. So this is a 2-inch punch, And then I use my 2.5-inch punch to punch the image out of the vellum, the printed vellum. And then I just put a thin layer of glue around the edge of the tag and put the vellum punch on and trim the edges. And I don't mind the way it looks on the back. It's kind of really washed out on the camera because it's very white tag and it's vellum, but I kind of like the way it looks. It adds a little element to the back of the tag as well. Matter of fact, when I made it, I couldn't decide which side I liked better. They both look finished. So then I took Tracie's to, oh, and the strings were really white. Like these tags were really white. The strings were really white. On camera, of course, they look really white still. But to get them unwhite a little bit, to age them a little bit, I just take my dauber, put it down on top of the strings like this. Let's see if I can show you what I'm doing without my finger in the way, like that, and then pull them through underneath, and then I flip them over and do it again. And I've already done it to this, so I don't want to add too much ink because it'll start coming off on stuff. But it's a great way to age up things, you know, like age up the string. And then I would just have done a bunch of inking around and on top of the tag. So what I did was put this in here. What is it catching on? Oh, just a little off cut of paper there. Hold on. It's catching on something. Oh, just the inside flap of the envelope there. Okay, sorry. So these strings are really long, and I don't want them to hang this long. So what I want to do is put little tabs on them, these little discs. So I, again, I'm using the little discs from Tracie's one of her newest kits. And I have punched out, I printed them onto sticker paper, like so, and I have punched out, these are the designs, and then these are the backs. You can use them however you want to, but I'm using them the way that she has them. So this is the front, this is the back. So I've printed them onto sticker paper, and I am going to, it's really great because then I don't have to deal with glue. They just stick to each other. And then I want to kind of measure them so they'll just hang down and dangle like that. And then I'm going to trim the end just shy of the end of the sticker. And then I'm going to put the front, or the finished side, and just stick it to the sticker side of the other sticker. Does that make sense? Stick it to the sticky side of the other sticker. Oh, come on now. This is the only part about trying to get stickers off of sticker paper, but it's still brilliant. I won't stop doing it. This one has a cute little dragonfly. So do my best to make it straight. There we go. Look at how easy that is. No glue. And then I'm going to go around the edge with some, not right over the top though, so I don't get little fuzzies. Okay, then I got one more to do. We'll do this one now. And I'm going to try to make this one just a little bit shorter than the other one. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go like this and go a little bit shorter than that. Like that. And then I chose this one. It has a little butterfly on it, and it says entomology. So let's go ahead and try to line them up the best I can. There we go. And the nice thing about inking around the edge is that if I miss, like here it's just slightly off and you can kind of feel a little bit stickiness there. If you do that, then when you put the ink over it, it kind of just gets, it's like takes the stickiness off that little edge there and the white part that you can't see. Okay, so look at that. Now we have our little danglies from the tag there. Whoops. That go just kind of dangling. And last is this seed envelope that we want to put in there and the elements that go inside of that. So here is the seed envelope, and inside of it, like I said, I just have this graphic 45 paper. Nope, it's not. It's 7 Gypsies that I like, and I just backed it with some tea stain paper. And then I have one of her tabs, and I've chosen a topper, and we will fold the topper in half like this, and bone folder that for a second. And of course we will ink, because ink, ink, ink. These are just so pretty. And I've already scored that as well to fold it. I'm not going to worry about inking the top because you won't see that. It will be under the topper. But you will see the back when you fold this little flap up. So we'll do that part. And can you hear Alexa downstairs? The girls are screwing around with Alexa. Okay, so now I'll turn my sewing machine back on. So here's what I want to do with this. I've already inked around the edge of this. So I'm going to line this up kind of the middle and right to the top edge here. I should move this so you can see what I'm doing underneath, huh? Right to the edge here. And then this is going to go over the top of that, and I want it to come down just to where you can fold it up like this. So I don't want to hinder its ability to fold up. So there we go. Okay, now I'm going to sew that through here, and oops, I turned off my sewing machine a minute ago because I thought I was done, but I'm not. I forgot about this one. Okay, so there we go. I am going to zigzag across the top of this tag here. Oops, that string almost got caught up in there. Okay. So now it folds up, and the best part is, though, when you put it into this envelope, you'll be able to see through the little window the lovely vintage botanical image right there. So then that goes into this envelope as well. So there we go. That is the down and dirty, fast as I can go versions of these last few elements for the book. So we've got 2 of these envelopes. We've got 2 of these envelopey notebooky thingies, and 2 of my side pocket tags. So there we go. I am going to kind of go through my book and decide what elements I want to go where, and try to decide if I need to go to one signature. I mean, because look at you guys. Even if I just put one of each of these in there and save the other ones for the other book, if I just go with one of each and put them in with what I've got, look at that thing. I don't know. I like chunky books, but that's maybe a bit much. I don't know. I'll go through. I'm going to go through and put the stuff in there. and kind of lay it out and see what I think. And I'm excited. Look at this. Oh, I just love piles of ephemera, don't you? Don't you just love when you get to this point and you're ready to go? The few things that I've done off camera, the bag that I made some tags to just go in there, some long tall tags to go in the bags. I made a long tall tag. Oops. I glued together my round Wendy pockets with my Mrs. Coggs images from Pink in the Garden. So those will just go on. Then I made a tall tag to go in this tall bag here with another flip-flappy thing, and I punched some holes, put some little mini grommets. The only thing I haven't made something to go inside of is this giant envelope. I don't have anything to go in here yet. I'm still trying to decide what I want to put in there. Then I have the two pockets that we made last time, and I filled them up with ephemera. I did the collage on the other one, and I made a little tag with a little another little disc dangle from it. So there we go. I have all this stuff ready to go into the journal, and I think what I'm going to do, like I said, is off camera I'll go through and start kind of lining stuff up and get it set. And if there's another piece of this that I think I should film, I will. Otherwise, you might just see it as a flip through next. So we'll see where it goes from here, and maybe I'll save some of this and we can kind of go through the other book and talk about how my process with that too. I don't know. Are you guys enjoying this? Do you want to keep seeing this stuff for me? Let me know. It's kind of fun to chat as I craft, so let me know in the comments if you want to keep seeing this kind of video from me. Thanks for all the support and all the comments that you've given me so far. I really love doing this, and it's fun to take you along with me. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll probably come back with a video this weekend. We don't have a ton of plans, which that is not usually the case. So maybe I will see you guys again this weekend, and if not, I'll see you again very soon. I hope you're all having a great day wherever you are. If you're in this weather, stay safe, stay out of it until it gets slushy and melty in just a few hours, which it will anyway. Appreciate you guys. God bless. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.